Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. Time is running out for the FSIN to work with the federal government and explain years of spending. The Minister of Indigenous Services Canada says the federal government is giving time and space for the FSIN to collaborate for now. A forensic audit into FSIN spending over a 5-year period resulted in Ottawa calling for nearly $29 million of ineligible and unsupported spending. And while Gull Masty is waiting for that money to be repaid, she understands COVID spending came during a hectic time for leadership, but a lot of decisions come back to standard operating practices that her office is having trouble following.
I'm observing what kinds of decisions are being taken. I'm trying to hold that space, but this is not a space with unlimited time. So I have an expectation for information being provided to me, information being appropriately disclosed to membership. And I hope that at FSIN, they will see that there's an opportunity to work together, but the decision will ultimately lay with them and what their next step is.
The FSIN did not respond to a request from CTV News. Gull Masty says she hopes FSIN membership is keeping its 74 nations informed. The truck driver responsible for the 2018 Humboldt Broncos bus crash was set to be deported to India today. But in a last-minute ruling, a federal court judge says he can stay in Canada for now. Lawyers for Jaskirat Singh Sidhu were in federal court Friday in a bid to stop his deportation. Following the hearing, the judge granted a stay of removal while another case continues. That case challenges a decision by the Canada Border Services Agency not to delay his removal as he waits for a ruling on a humanitarian application to stay in Canada. Sidhu, a rookie Calgary truck driver, ran a truck stop sign in 2018, crashing into the bus carrying the Humboldt Broncos at the junction of highways 35 and 335. 16 people were killed and 13 others were injured. His lawyer says Sidhu's son has a medical condition that could put him at risk in India due to poor air quality and says the family was facing separation.
They were extremely upset about facing the fact that, on Monday morning he would have to be deported and the family could be broken up for years or even permanently. So when that decision came through on Friday saying that they had a reprieve, of course there's tremendous relief.
Over the years, reaction from the team's families have been mixed, with some supporting Sidhu's bid to stay, while others say he should be deported. Saskatchewan hosted its first major artificial intelligence expo today, drawing more than 400 people to Saskatoon's Prairieland Park. The event, organized by Artificial Intelligence Saskatchewan, featured keynote speeches from Saskatchewan tech companies, alongside sessions on AI ethics and hands-on demonstrations. Founder Alex Fallon says the goal is to make AI accessible, bringing together students, industry, and the public to see how the technology is being used across the province.
Part of the purpose of the expo is really to help people learn about AI, especially if you're a beginner, you're new to AI, and it's really about trying it, hearing from experts, talking to other people, and just trying to...
Organizers say they're already planning to bring the expo back next year, with plans to make it even bigger. Saskatoon police are investigating 2 recent deaths as the city's latest homicides. The latest happened on Friday night just before 11 o'clock. Officers responded to the 2200 block of 22nd Street for an injured person. There they found a 55-year-old man unresponsive. He was taken to hospital where he died of his injuries on Saturday. This is Saskatoon's 6th homicide of the year. And a suspicious death earlier this month is now being investigated as Saskatoon's 5th homicide. Just after 8:30 the evening of April 15th, emergency crews responded to a 21-year-old man who was injured and unresponsive in an apartment suite in the 1100 block of Avenue W North. The victim was declared dead at the scene. Major Crimes is now investigating the death. Police are looking for an inmate who was mistakenly released from custody last week. The government of Saskatchewan says 35-year-old Wilbur Young was reported to be unlawfully at large on Thursday after being freed as a result of an administrative error. Young was remanded into custody on November 30th and given a 32-day custodial sentence for assault. Wilbur Young has connections to the Red Earth First Nation. Anyone with information on where Wilbur is should be contacting RCMP. All right, Jeff, we've made it through the big snowy weekend, and now it's just smooth sailing the rest of the summer?
Well, you know what? It may not be as smooth as people want because temperatures are going to slowly increase, and that's good news in terms of a slow melt. We're not going to be pushing the flooding button in that respect. But we can tell you that, we've got lots of high pressure that is creating a ridging situation for BC, but we're in the trough across the prairies right now, so temperatures are remaining below seasonal, slowly warming up as we get towards the end of the work week, and we'll talk more about those numbers later on.
The Canadian Grain Commission says it will not renew its license for one of Canada's largest farming operations. The Grain Commission said Monette Seed's elevator license to operate its primary swift current elevator will not be renewed, effective May 1st. Monette Farms filed for creditor protection last week, and the Grain Commission advises any producers who are owed money to contact its Safeguards for Grain Farmers program as soon as possible. Monette maintains the move to seek court protection was made to restructure the farm's finances while continuing normal operations. Saskatchewan's former Lieutenant Governor Vaughan Solomon Schofield was honored with a state funeral on Saturday. Friends, family, and especially those in the military remembered her honor, who passed away at the age of 82. Solomon Schofield passed away from a short illness a few weeks ago after a brief stay in hospital.
It has been overwhelming, but such a relief to have the protocol office and the Lieutenant Governor's office take this on, and it absolutely exceeded all of my and my family's expectations, the way that they put this together, and I'm kind of speechless. It's going to take a little while to absorb it.
Would be marked.
Dozens of police, firefighters, those in EMS, as well as every military branch stopped by in uniform to pay their respects. Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced that his government is going to create the Canada Strong Fund, the country's first sovereign wealth fund, with the federal government making an initial contribution of $25 billion.
For those Canadians who want to participate in an even more direct way, we will make it easy for individual Canadians to invest in the fund and therefore own a small piece of nation-building projects and share in their returns.
Carney says the fund will invest in major nation-building projects alongside the private sector. The returns will be reinvested to grow the fund and strengthen its capacity. Carney says many other resource-rich countries have already got sovereign wealth funds.
I would say the way for us to get there is for us to really make the efforts, concrete efforts, in ensuring that we can attract that private sector investment and expand the industries that are creating wealth and jobs across this nation, including in our province.
Some of those sectors include mining and energy. The province has previously explored the idea of creating a similar fund, but opted to pay down debt instead when given the chance to do so. When we return, a football fanatic from Atlantic Canada gets a chance with the Riders, and some Saskatchewan powerlifters challenging themselves into their 80s. Football has been a male-dominated sport for decades, but that's starting to change both here in Canada and in the United States. Derek Haggett met with a university student who's taking her passion for the game to the highest level.
She may only be 21 years old, but Mount Allison student Julia Cameron has had a long football journey. It started when she was just 11 months old and would watch games with her father, a former player and coach.
Before I could even speak, he taught me the illegal procedure sign, so the ref would say it, I'd do the signal, and then I fell in love from there.
Cameron played with the boys growing up in her hometown of Truro and was always the only girl in the squad, but she never felt excluded.
I just love being a part of the team, the camaraderie, and just there's no environment like football.
The Commerce student records practice and game video for the Mounties and engages fans on the team's social media platforms. She's accepted a 4-week internship with the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. She'll work in marketing, operations, and analytics during the team's training camp in May.
I don't think there's a better club she could be going to. Like you said, I mean, Regina's absolutely football crazy.
Mounties head coach Scott Brady says more and more women are getting involved in football.
Both in the CFL and at the U Sports level, I think there's just so many of them who have a passion for the game, and they just haven't been afforded the opportunities in the past.
Cameron wrote letters to the National Football League when she was just a kid, trying to convince the commissioner to let women play.
Can you give us a shot? And yeah, we can be physical too. I'm playing, and I'd love to see somebody that I could look up to in that way.
She'll be back with the Mounties in the fall and hopes to turn her education and passion for football into a career. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Sackville, New Brunswick.
A pair of athletes in their 80s showed off their skills at a powerlifting meet over the weekend. Hallie Mandrick has that story.
The Mackey Physiotherapy Powerlifting meet proved that the sport is truly for all ages.
They go, wow, look at that really old dude, he's doing it. And I think maybe in their minds it's like, if he can do it, I can do it till I'm 80. So I'm planning on doing this till I'm 100.
89-year-old Joyce Hansen and 80-year-old Barry Gay took the event as an opportunity to showcase the hard work they've each been putting in. Both Gay and Hansen say powerlifting has become an important tool to stay healthy as they get older.
As you age, you lose everything. So I work out to maintain my mobility, my flexibility, and probably the most important thing as you age is your balance. As well as having severe osteoporosis, I have increased my bone mass to the point where I don't need medications.
The event organizer says powerlifters like Hansen and Gay are proof that the sport is for everyone.
It's not just a sport for young people. I think it's so important to show that not only you can, but that maybe you should, you know, even if it's not on the platform at an event like this, but that you can still go into the gym, lift weights, and get stronger. And I think what we have today is just a perfect example of that.
While the impact on physical health is an important aspect to the sport, Gay says powerlifting has benefited his mental health as well.
And you go, oh my gosh, this is not going to move. It's not going to lift. And then it moves a fraction of an inch. And you go, maybe it's going to move. And you keep pushing. You push harder and push harder and push harder. And it gets to the top and you get the okay. And then you did it. And just go, I did it. It usually brings tears to my eyes.
Hansen says she's learned a lot since taking up the sport 12 years ago and shared some advice for anyone looking to stay healthy as they get older.
Just get up and move, whatever it is. If you just want to walk, walk. If you want to lift some weights, lift weights. Just move.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Jeff has a look at weather when we return, and later changes to the nurse examiner role after a harrowing experience. So, Jeff, I guess what you've been alluding to is this snow is not going to melt in a New York minute. It might take a little while.
It might take more of a Prince Albert 3 days. So we'll wait and see. But we are seeing temperatures slowly rise. And ultimately, that's probably a good thing because the incidence of flooding will be, mitigated because we won't have that fast melt. So we'll have to wait and see. But there's a big trough. Like right now, fairly dry conditions in BC. And they've already had some wildfires there. Not any wildfires of note, but I think they have 2 going on right now, and there's some other ones that are under control. So, it's dry in BC. It's going to remain dry for a little while, but there's a bit of a trough line here, and the cold Arctic air still impacting the prairie provinces. Colorado low slowly making its way into Ontario, so we do expect a bit of a rainy situation to make our way into Tuesday, ultimately into Quebec as well. And then that system is still going to impact Atlantic Canada. So everybody is going to be dealing with some sort of unsettled weather, and temperatures will be fluctuating. So places like Ontario that are warm today and tomorrow, well, it'll be cooling off as the week goes on, as the west starts to warm up. So just a bit of a flip-flop there. So let's take a look at our futurecast. As you can see, those pressure lines staying really far apart, so we're not anticipating much in the way of wind in the next couple of days, and we are pretty much saying if there are any showers or flurries, they will be spotty in nature. And there's a slight potential for some snow in the foothills region of Alberta as we make our way along for the week, but we don't anticipate. Maybe some of that sneaks into Saskatchewan. We'll have to wait and see, but right now it doesn't look like it's high potential, let's say. We've got ourselves cloudy conditions for Candle Lake, -6 degrees, -6 in cloudy skies in the Spiritwood area, -5 for the Battlefords, -7 overnight in Birch Hills, the same for Rostern, -4 in Nipawin and -6 in Melfort. Then as we roll into Tuesday, well, we've got ourselves 8 degrees for a high, 10 in Spiritwood. The Battleford's 10 degrees with mainly sunny skies. A bit more in the way of cloud cover for Candle Lake, 6 degrees there, 5 in Birch Hill, 7 in Rostern. Those are mainly cloudy conditions. Cloudy again, though, in Nipawin, 5 degrees, and Melfort, 4 degrees for a high. So, yes, these temperatures are what? Yeah, way below seasonal for this time of late April. So here's what we expect tonight. There's a possibility of some flurries, but it's a slight chance. Winds out of the northeast at 10, which isn't much of a wind to begin with, but they'll drop right off, so not a windy night in store. And the winds really don't pick up all that much. I think we're, pushing it to say a 15-kilometer-an-hour wind is moderate, but we'll go with that number. We've got ourselves cloudy skies and 6 degrees, and the 7-day outlook for the Gateway City, 11 on Wednesday, 14, which is pretty much seasonal for this time of year on Thursday. Friday jumping up to 18, but then slipping back a little bit. 13 degrees, still quite manageable, all things considered, as we get into the beginning of May. I know. 16 degrees on Sunday, and 1 week from today, mainly cloudy skies and 11 degrees.
I think the trick, Jeff, is we just have to will it into existence by putting umbrellas in our drinks and putting sunscreen on, even though it's not required, all that stuff to just will that warm.
Why not? Put it out to the universe.
I like that. Okay, Jeff. Well, the Prince Albert Raiders are heading to Medicine Hat for games 3 and 4 of the Eastern Conference Final, and the series is deadlocked at a game apiece.
And Oiring's got it on the attack. He's got Doobie with him. He'll find Doobie going to the net. Doobie puts the backhand. Score!
The Raiders exploded for 8 goals on Friday night in front of a sold-out crowd, including a 3-point night for Aiden Oiring on the way to an 8-3 win in Game 1. The Raiders went 3 for 4 on the power play, while Medicine Hat didn't get a single opportunity on the man advantage. But on Friday night, the Tigers found their scoring touch with 5 unanswered goals and a 5-0 shutout in Game 2. The season came to a disappointing close for the Saskatchewan Rush as they fell to the Toronto Rock on Saturday night.
He's got the net, scores, and this one is over.
The Rush trailed at the end of every quarter, making a late-game comeback nearly impossible. Austin Shanks had 3 goals and 4 assists in the loss that was part of a strange weekend in the NLL. The top 3 seeded teams were upset over the weekend. Number 1 Vancouver fell to Halifax, 2nd-ranked Colorado lost to San Diego, and the Rush in the 3 spot were upset by the 6th-ranked Toronto. The L'Orange Ice Wolves today announcing the team and head coach Kevin Kaminski have mutually agreed to part ways. Kaminski served as the head coach and general manager for 6 seasons. He won Coach of the Year in his first year in 2020. The Ice Wolves say the decision comes as the team looks forward to new opportunities and a fresh direction. The search for Kaminski's replacement is now underway.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
4 years after a victim was turned away from a hospital after a sexual assault because a trained nurse wasn't available, the health authority has promised to train more staff. Laura Brown has more on the changes taking place.
It was a summer evening almost 4 years ago. A 26-year-old woman went to this emergency room seeking a sexual assault forensic examination, also known as a rape kit. But there wasn't a trained nurse available to administer the kit. She was told not to shower and return the next day. A police officer stepped in and a nurse was called in that evening. The victim shared her story at the time, hoping it would spark some change. And it did. Horizon Health Network CEO promised more nurse examiners would be trained, and while it's taken time, the health authority confirms it now has the funding. Today, there are about 10 full-time dedicated sexual assault nurse examiners at Horizon Health hospitals. The funding will add almost 12 full-time positions, which will more than double the current coverage.
The idea that someone that I love, a sister, a daughter, a niece, a brother, a friend, that anyone would have the experience of being turned away when they have the bravery to show up. I really hope that this additional funding allows that to not be the case in the future.
The victim at the center wanted to remain anonymous, saying she's worked hard to move into the next season of her life. The program's director calls the additional positions a major expansion of the program's permanent staffing base, which will result in more consistent, improved access to these services across Horizon.
I know that the survivors that we work with are so appreciative of all the nurses.
Advocates applaud the program's expansion, saying more access means more doors open for victims.
Ensuring always that we're keeping survivors at the center. And so as survivors are reaching out and telling us what they need, being adaptable and flexible to that, and of course always believing them.
Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
Hey, Jeff, time to get online famous because an unexpected rescue operation in rural Saskatchewan has done just that, gotten one towing company lots of online attention. Rebel Towing posted online about the incident Sunday. The company had a truck on the way to some calls when it came across a moose stuck in the ice near a grid road. It appeared the animal had fallen through a thin spot in the ice, so the workers used a harness to pull the moose to safety and then up onto the truck. The moose was taken to a nearby farm where they warmed it up with some blankets, and eventually the moose got up and went about its day. There you go. Have you ever seen a real live moose, Jeff, in your travels?
I'm sure I have. It's one of those funny things. Like now you put me on the spot. I have to think about that. But I'm going to say yes.
Well, that's the thing. And I mean, all of my travel, and I've been around and on roads a lot, and it's probably a good thing you don't see a moose while you're in a car.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
We're in Saskatchewan. I've been in northern places enough. I should see a moose, and I think the only ones I've seen are on TV or in pictures or something.
Well, the opportunity I'm sure will present itself.
There you go.
All right.
Go further north.
Yeah, exactly. Meadow Lake Provincial Park. There you go.
At least.
Yeah.